Now is the time. The wait is over. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Rangers. It's been a long season that culminates in the searing heat of Seville. A fortnight on from the emotional celebrations at Frankfurt Stadion and at Ibrox to set up an almighty Europa League final. A night to dream and create legends. Names that will be written into the history of these two great clubs forever. These occasions forge careers. The night players will remember for a lifetime. The journey has been as unexpected as it's been euphoric. A road that has taken them to all corners of the continent. Now Germany and Scotland contest a Europa League final for the first time. Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, RB Leipzig, West Ham, all put to the sword, leaving two standing. Many feared nights like this were a thing of the past. A decade on from their lowest low, Rangers contest a European final for the fifth time in the club's history, looking to emulate the Barcelona Bears half a century on. They will believe they can be history makers tonight. The atmosphere as intense as you will experience. Supporters have made the journey by any means necessary. And in their hundreds of thousands, they have flocked to Andalusia from all over the world. The all-important starting 11s as Oliver Glasner makes just one change from their semi-final victory over West Ham. Frankfurt have been sweating over the fitness of Bundesliga Rookie of the Year Jesper Lindstrom, but after 4 games out and training alone, the Danish attacker has made it and starts ahead of Jens Peter Hauge. Kevin Trapp brings international experience in goals, while Sebastian Rode wears the captain's armband. Slavko Vincic leads the Slovenian team of officials. He's already refereed Rangers twice before, including this season at home to Malmo in August. And the two captains, Sebastian Rode and James Tavernier, go through the formalities. Rangers, as you can see, behind James Tavernier, won that battle of the black market of tickets. But you better believe the Eintracht Frankfurt fans may be outnumbered, but they will make just as much noise. It's a special, special night. For Rangers, it's the same starting 11 that defeated RB Leipzig at Ibrox. James Tavernier is the Europa League's top scorer. His 7 goals have all come in the knockout stages. Alan McGregor missed the 2008 UEFA Cup final in Manchester due to injury. Tonight, he becomes the oldest player to play in a major European final. Ryan Jack has recovered from an ankle injury. Kemaru is only fit enough for the bench. That means that Joe Aribo will take his place, leading the line for Rangers. Alexander Seferin, the UEFA president, is in attendance as the players show their support for the anti-racism movement around the world. Here we go, everyone. One final hurdle. History has already been made, but legends await. The Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, decked out in blue and white. famous, famous night awaits us here. This will be remembered forever. It is a major European final. Eintracht Frankfurt against Rangers.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the moment, Rory. Looks like Rangers go with the back four. The high press on the German backline just then.
That is an interesting move. I think when all of us were writing out our teams, we thought Giovanni van Bronckhorst would go with the back three that set them up so well against RB Leipzig.
I think Frankfurt want to play out from the back. The back three like to split, they like to get hold of the ball and start attacks, whereas Rangers front three of Kent, Aribo and Scott Wright can push really high, can stop them building their play, which might give Rangers a little foothold in the game.
Oliver Glasner, the head coach of Eintracht Frankfurt, came in over the summer after seeing Wolfsburg to the Champions League. They've been somewhat inconsistent in their domestic form, but do not underestimate this side. They're unbeaten in Europe this season. Ansgar Knauf is a real danger. He whips that ball in all the way over to Filip Kostic. The two wing-backs come winger are the extreme dangers for Rangers. Now it's one back and into Djibril Sow. Kostic targeting the back post. Kamada looks to drill one across that Calvin Bassey is able to get the block in. Now Scott Wright looks to find Joe Aribo.
Yeah, I think it's important for Rangers to try and stop Kostic off the left-hand side there. He's got great delivery. Try and stop it at source.
It's frantic early on. We thought it would be. There's so much at stake. The heart will be pumping. Nervous energy comes into the players. I think as the game starts to progress, it's all about just that little bit of composure, that calmness, putting your foot in the ball and making some simple passes.
Eintracht Frankfurt did lift this trophy in its guise as the UEFA Cup back in 1980. There's Glenn Kamara. He's done really well to feed that to Joe Aribo. Steered away from him by Mami Toure. Rangers now can enjoy some controlled possession for the first time under John Lundstrom and Calvin Bassey.
Yeah, I think it's important you try and dominate the ball. Very hot evening here in Seville.
It's an energy-sapping heat. The fans who have come out really since the weekend, maybe some luckier ones even earlier than that. What a turn from Scott Wright. Now can he get Joe Aribo away? Aribo looks to turn inside, and he was just held up by Tuta.
Yeah, very positive play by Scott Wright in the middle of the park. Turns brilliantly. Joe Aribo tries to check onto his favoured left foot as we see here. Lovely ball down the right hand side. He just loses his footing here.
James Tavernier in front of the end where the Eintracht Frankfurt fans are housed, and Tavernier, the first crossing opportunity for him, and too much on it from the Rangers captain.
Yeah, it was well worked down the right hand side, a little give and go, we're right. He'll be disappointed with his final ball. Nice and positive though.
I think that little turn by Scott Wright in the middle of the pitch will do him the world of good. He had a tough night away in Leipzig, maybe a bit of a surprise inclusion for some, but he's had a positive start.
Lundstrom picking up in the middle of the park from the loose clearance. Now Connor Goldson. Tavernier leaves it for Jack. It's now back to Tavernier, cleaning up his Djibril Sow. And again, another good read from John Lundstrom, but he was high with the boot on Sebastian Rode, who has taken a really nasty one to the head. John Lundstrom offers his apologies here. And a reminder of VAR in operation, of course.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what VAR throws up here, Stephen.
It's certainly a dangerous high boot from John Lundstrom. The referee has the option of looking at it. VAR will clearly have a look at it and offer their opinion to the on-field ref.
Well, Peter Walton is standing by, and Peter, what did you make? It's the first major flashpoint of this final.
Well, the VAR will certainly look at this for serious foul play. However, in my opinion, I don't think it's serious foul play. The Eintracht player has ducked down into the actual challenge from Lundstrom. It's more of a reckless challenge from Lundstrom. I would be surprised if he doesn't receive a yellow card for this, but that's basically the totality of it. It would be probably a yellow card for a reckless challenge, if that.
Well, thank you, Peter.
Yeah, because reckless equates to a yellow card. You know, does he go in with force? Is he endangering the safety of an opponent? I think once you raise your foot above usual height when you go for a tackle, I mean, that is a high foot. It certainly is. You talk about intention of a player, but unfortunately intention isn't really in the laws of the game.
It's not part of the game, that's right, yeah. Not part of the laws, Stephen.
It's certainly a horrible start for the Eintracht Frankfurt captain Sebastian Rode in his second spell with the club after he was signed by Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich. Won back-to-back titles in Bavaria. And back with Eintracht Frankfurt. He was a semi-finalist as well in 2019. That's the pedigree of this Frankfurt squad. Many have moved on, of course. Freddy Bobic and Adi Hütter, and Luka Jovic as well. They're now creating their own status. And it has been a tough season for them, perhaps taking their eye off the ball domestically. 3 wins in the last 13 games. They've all come in Europe, and somewhat impressively have come in the Nou Camp away to Barcelona, and then home and away against West Ham United in the semi-final. Their away form in Europe is sensational.
You have to say it's a bit of a risky strategy, just to see Glenn Kamara with a nice little flick. It's a risky strategy from Frankfurt to put all their energy into Europa League games. You know, because it's difficult to decide when you want to play well, when you're going to play well. Managers always like consistency of performances. They always say that brings consistency of results. So it's a strange way of doing it for Frankfurt. And I have to say, it's good to see.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Rode back on his feet.
And meanwhile, Rangers have timed their run of form perfectly for this.
Yeah, I think the referee had a part to play in that, Rory, because he seemed to calm it down fairly quickly.
There'll be a new shirt for the skipper. Eintracht Frankfurt are wearing their 3rd kits. They've been nicknamed La Bastia Blanca, the White Beasts, for their exploits in Europe this season. Now back on Spanish soil after a sensational victory away to Barcelona in the quarter-finals. And we are ready to get back underway through Tuta, with the German side just down to 10 men for now before they get Rode back on.
I think it's fair to say John Lundstrom is very lucky he hasn't received the yellow card. I think some on the bench of Frankfurt were dismayed by that decision, but the game goes on.
There's the general in the middle of the park for Frankfurt, Rode, and he soldiers on as down goes Kent. Got a barge in the back from Ansgar Knauf.
Yeah, it was a lovely diagonal ball. Just got a little nudge. The referee didn't think there was enough in to warrant a foul.
Rafael Boré helps it on. It will now be picked up by Kent. That is a strong challenge from So, but it is punished.
Yeah, Frankfurt have a bit of steel about them. Probably more physical than Dortmund and Leipzig. Probably a better mix of player. certainly been very competitive early on. Nobody's really stamped their authority in the game so far. The game's still a little bit frenetic.
It's Connor Goldson again looking for that diagonal towards Kent. Might be one that Rangers can pick up on the second ball, but it was won back by Jesper Lindström. Injured himself against West Ham. He hasn't played since. Now Boré finds Kostic, the danger man, but backtracking Scott Wright to find Tavernier, who in turn passes it on to Glenn Kamara. Kent had just made the dart in behind. Alami Toure, and he does pick out Kamada. And out comes McGregor to make the save. The first opportunity now So from range. McGregor holds on. It's the first scare for Rangers.
Yeah, it all came in the middle of the park, Rory. Kamara should just be giving the ball to Kent. Gets his pocket picked. His first big opportunity for Frankfurt.
I think that just shows us what Frankfurt are capable of. They're quite happy to sink deep, let the opposition take risks, then they're ready to pounce. The minute they win the ball, they attack with pace, they attack with energy. Kamada in particular, Kostic. You really have to be careful, Rangers, not to give up cheap possession.
Yeah, you've got to get the ball out to Ryan Kent. He's been a standout player in an offensive area.
Lundstrom rather, and Goldson getting back to keep out the threat of Kamada. Gregor getting his first touch. It's helped on by Boré. Lundstrom steps inside Bassi, who won it cleanly. Up the line it goes from Barisic. Aribo hits the deck, and that is a very handy free kick to win on halfway.
Yeah, it's important that he does that, Rory. He needs to try and get Rangers up the pitch, but it's brilliant play by Calvin Bassey there, showing his strength. A little give and go on the far side.
I have to say the tempo of the game is terrific. It really is. There's not a lot of fluency about it. It's not as cohesive as what both sides would want, but certainly the energy and the appetite and the application of the players is 100% there.
Tavernier venturing forward well. Kamara was the target. So helps it clear. Jack just lost out to Boré, who does like to drop deep. He's not an out-and-out number 9.
Yeah, absolutely right, Rory. He likes to drop in, like the play, get the pace down the flanks.
For all the arguments of the number of tickets allocated to both clubs, 9,500 in total. It is fantastic to see that the tickets have got into the hands of the real supporters who have spent so much money to get here, to enjoy the experience of a lifetime.
I think it's important that a humid night here in Seville that you spend time in the ball, you try and get the opposition moving side to side, try and wear them down. But saying that, Rangers need to have purpose with their possession.
Came Toure to win it, and then for Roda. So Kamada. Kostic helps it back to the Swiss midfielder. Tuta signed a contract extension yesterday to keep him at the club long term. Knauf. Barisic looks to find Kent, who had a man directly on his back.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that 5-yard pass, and he's under pressure there. John Lundstrom and Ryan Jack are trying to accommodate Lundstrom, and Kamara just dropping that little bit deeper. They're picking up good pockets and then trying to have the ball.
It's already a quarter of an hour played and it has flown by. Tuta, the Brazilian, looks for the long ball towards Knauf, who's on an 18-month loan from Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, this is a threat. Kamada, he's hard to pick up, he's elusive. He drifts in behind Boré. Comfortable save in the end from Alan McGregor, but I think John Lundstrom, out of possession, is actually going to try and man-mark Kamada to try and stop him playing and getting the ball, so we can free James Tavernier up down this right-hand side there at Kostic.
Wilson this time looks long.
Yeah, the ball up has to be that a little bit better. Can't afford to get away comfortable possession.
Kostic is that one into Boré, who held on to it really well. Evan Dika to Boré. Slips it through to Lindstrom. Neat feet from the Dane, who turns Bassi, drills it low. Lundstrom was well positioned. It is how they like to attack, is to fizz those low balls into the danger area.
Great play by Lindstrom. Lovely feet down the left-hand side. Rookie of the year in the Bundesliga. You can clearly see why.
Well, and it's no wonder that they tried everything to make sure he was fit for this game.
The thing is, he doesn't just stay on that right-hand side. You can see it from that instance. He wants to drift along the front line. It's one thing Lindstrom and Kamada are very good at. They make lovely little diagonal runs.
It's Kamada out to Knauf. And it's well defended by Barisic. Knauf again. Toure. Boré. Lundstrom gets the touch. Now but there's Ryan Jack patrolling that area. It will drop for Scott Wright too. Aribo would have been offside.
Yeah, he just went a little bit early there. It's an important tackle by Ryan Jack in the middle of the park.
I think Frankfurt have settled now. They look as if they've got a bit of ownership of the game. They're moving Rangers side to side. They're more settled in their system. Trying to find out where the weaknesses are in Rangers and where they can go and exploit.
Rangers have had to experience moments like that throughout this run. They've had to suffer at times, particularly away from home. Managing to keep defeats to the one goal, absolutely key. In Braga, Belgrade and Leipzig, defeats, but knowing what was in store for opposition at Ibrox, nobody was able to cope with. Here's Kent. Time the diagonal picks him out well. Barisic with the early ball. Came off right, then Roda to Jack and Aribo. Kamara almost getting through. Kamada, Boré made an intelligent run to pick up the space, but it's excellent ball winning from Lundstrom.
Yes, this as well, I never seen him. Boré was away, a lovely late run.
The key for Rangers is, out of possession, you've got to be comfortable. Just make sure you plug your gaps, you stay with your man, you don't leave any spaces for the Frankfurt forwards to go and run into. Then when you get the ball, can you be more incisive? Connor Coulson's played 4 or 5 longer passes. I think sometimes you've got to mix it up. The back three of Frankfurt know it's coming, they're dropping off, expecting it to come their way.
Yeah, you have to mix and match, Stephen. Just get the ball, play it, try and keep it, then stretch them.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst, who has played in and won the Champions League final. Barcelona against Arsenal in 2006. He's also played in a World Cup final, the final match of his playing career for the Netherlands against Germany in 2010. Here's Knauf! What a save from Alan McGregor!
Yeah, they get out far too easy from the throw-in. Knauf down that right-hand side, checks into his left foot. It's that man McGregor again. Tips it round the post.
Just a little bit of indecision from Rangers. They look as if they're a yard away from where they want to be at this moment. They're a little bit too passive in the middle of the pitch. 2 passes shouldn't really cut you open. That's a major concern. Borna Barisic has got to get a little bit tighter in and around the halfway line. Frankfurt starting to flex their muscles.
Corner comes in low and it's hit by Lindstrom and then helped on, but only into the side netting, as it just created another little flutter of the heartbeat.
Yeah, straight off the training ground, Rory. Well worked. Everyone runs in towards the goal. Frees up Lindstrom. And he gets it all wrong. Unlucky there. Not to hit the target. Be disappointed there, Rory. He never hit the target. 5 yards.
Correction, of course, the 2010 World Cup final was Spain victorious against the Netherlands. Forward from McGregor, but it comes back to Boré. Now Roda and So, and it opens up nicely for Djibril So. There's another effort towards Alan McGregor's goal, but they can't trouble the veteran keeper this time.
Yeah, they're far too expansive, Rory. They're trying to play out for the back. They're stretched up the pitch. They turn over a possession, they'll get far too much space. Just a matter of time before they start peppering the target. They'll be disappointed. They'll not want McGregor on goal.
This is the chance just before, isn't it? Ken out from that right-hand side. He loves space to run into. Warner Barisic shows him far too much space inside the pitch, and he has to rely on a top-class save from Alan McGregor. Yeah. Frankfurt have been more inventive in the last 5 minutes. They've been braver in possession. Their system's working on Rangers. I just wonder at some stage will Giovanni van Bronckhorst look to try and change it.
Aribo. Back it comes to Jack and Goldson. Barisic, Rangers happy enough to be forced backwards to maintain possession, but now again Bassi looks for that diagonal. It's well won by Kostic. Lundstrom loses out to Kamada.
Yeah, wasteful in the middle of the park again. Poor first touch.
Dika equalizes Kevin Trapp. Experienced German international between the sticks. They are, of course, out without Martin Hinteregger, who's the organiser of their defensive unit. Inspirational leader. They have to make do without, but Rangers, of course, have major absentees as well, and none more so than Alfredo Morelos. Certainly here in Seville, he's been out and soaking up the atmosphere and the adulation of hundreds of, tens of thousands of supporters anyway, that have made their way from Glasgow and beyond. So there will be a water break in a couple of minutes with the searing temperatures, despite the fact that we're beyond 9 o'clock in the evening here in Andalusia. Bassi to Kent. His first touch got him back towards goal. He's now won it back from Toure. Created quite a tussle for supremacy in a dangerous area of the pitch.
Yeah, you have to get the ball to Kent. He's the main threat for Rangers, as we've seen time after time.
He's the one that, in their 2 victories over German sides, has certainly caught the eye of the German press. Ryan Kent.
Yeah, Rangers have to be patient, Rory. They have to work the opening, try and work an overload down the sides.
James Tavernier showed too much of it to Kostic and Kamada, but the Rangers captain atones for giving the ball away.
They actually looked up for Joe Aribo, who was wanting to run in behind, and James Tavernier's wanting Aribo to come short. You can't always look to stretch the game. That's maybe the naivety of not being a natural centre forward. You always think you've got to run in behind. He's got to face up and give Tavernier a target.
Yeah, Scott Wright giving the depth. He's dropping off there. Joe Aribo.
To Two Toes, very comfortable on the ball. Looks up to Boré, but Goldson was in charge. And again, they look to release Kent. Kamara, back it comes to Ryan Kent as Kamara gets back up. Right. He's caught late. Aribo has the shot on goal, though. It's inches wide of the target. That would have been something very special indeed.
Yeah, it was good play. He worked that opportunity, Rory. Good play by Wright. Picks out Aribo. This is on his favoured left foot. Just a yard wide of the post.
Such a sharp turn once again from Scott Wright. It would have been easy to take the simple option and pass it off to James Tavernier, but he didn't. He's taking responsibility, and that's when Joe Aribo's at his best. In and around the 18-yard box, that's when you come off. That's when he can get turned and face defenders up, face towards the goal. There's a late tackle by Ndika, I've got to say, but Joe Aribo couldn't believe the space that he had. Rangers' first real notable effort.
Yeah, the referee's been fairly lenient. That tackle there on Scott Wright, and the one with Lundstrom.
Well, it's a well-earned cooling break. It's easier said than done, though.
I might need a drink myself in a minute, Rory. I'm baking here.
It's not just a water break for the players to get fluids. It's vitally important that the managers get a message across. If there's something to say or something's not working, they have to try and get that across to the players and try and rectify it before any damage is done.
Well, what a city this is. Home of Sevilla, the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. A fitting location for this final. 6 times winners of this competition. The trophy will be heading to a new home, and for the first time in its guise as the Europa League, for the first time we'll be heading to either Scotland or Germany.
Yeah, that's Rangers' best opportunity there for Joe Aribo. I think if Rangers got on the ball, Stephen, working from side to side, try and get that overload, you may well get more opportunities.
Well, this is the first of the European finals. The second will be next Wednesday in Tirana, the Europa Conference League final between AS Roma and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, former side finder. That's from 7:30, 1HD and Ultimate. And then the Champions League final. What a game that will be in Paris between Liverpool and Real Madrid, Saturday the 28th of May from 6 PM, 1HD and Ultimate. And it's all eyes on Seville for now. Bassi wins the header, but there was certainly a shove in the back of Rafael Boré.
Yeah, Borré's backing in, Rory, but you just can't push it like this, especially when the referee's a couple of yards away.
Might get away with one hand now and again, but a blatant two-handed shove, unfortunately, isn't going to sit well with the ref.
The Eintracht Frankfurt fans come to life to inspire their heroes. Free kick taken by Kostic. It's a dangerous one towards Bassi, who had to be strong to hold off the 2 Frankfurt players at the back post. He knocks it out for a corner.
Yeah, the delivery's tremendous, Rory. In swinging. Bassi's afraid to go hit it towards goal. Just comes off his legs. He does enough though.
Such a tantalising delivery. It's very difficult for Calvin Bassi to deal with that. And Rangers have to learn from the first set play against.
Kostic. Again, Tavernier this time wins the header. Lindstrom, it hit Kamada. On its way towards Alan McGregor's goal.
Yeah, he may well just have been offside. It would have been tight.
So, the raking ball. The volley just hits the top of the net from Filip Kostic.
Yes, lack of communication with Borna Barisic. Here's it to Kostic. Disappointed he didn't hit the target.
There's that strike again from Lindstrom. It's actually Kamada that keeps it out. Just that Borna Barisic header we had a look at a couple of minutes ago. Sometimes that's what the big occasion does to you. It unnerves you a little bit. Some indecision coming into Borna Barisic's play.
Toure at the back now, stepping in. Shootout with Barisic. Kent with a neat touch into Kamara, who goes down under the attention of Roda.
Yeah, Roda doesn't mess about. Gets tight to Kamara here, little Cruyff turn. Move over a little bit fortunate.
Gabriel, So and Sebastian Roda, the two enforcers in the middle of the pitch. They seldom give it up. They battle, they scrap, they fight, they break the play up, and they allow the front five to go to attack. So that wasn't surprising.
Barisic will take this free kick for Rangers. It's run well by Ndika. Tavernier can only find Kostic though, and a chance to break. Roda the only one ahead of him, but Kostic might not need anyone. He goes for goal, takes aim at the far bottom corner and just drags it wide.
Yeah, it's an excellent run, Rory. For me, it's the wrong choice in the end. It's a poor header by Tavernier. He runs 80 yards. I think it's a shot in the end. But for me, he gets all wrong. He's got bodies trying to make it into the box.
Again, it's just Frankfurt showing their counter-attacking ability. If Rangers expose himself at any stage, or they get too many men ahead of the ball, they're sitting waiting to win that possession over and then drive at the heart of Rangers.
3 goals and 3 assists for Filip Kostic in this Europa League run. Including a double in the win in Barcelona. That was the one that rocked Europe. Rangers had their own moment as well with the 4-2 victory in Dortmund. What a night that was. And it's all part of the journey that has got these two to this magnificent occasion. Right back to Tavernier. Now Aribo. It's Roda who can knock it out of play.
He's in a battle, isn't he, Joe Aribo?
Yep.
When you look at Tutu, Toure and Ndika, strong, physical, powerful players, and Joe Aribo a little bit out of his comfort zone playing as a centre forward, but he's holding his own.
Alvin Bassey. It's Kostic that can out-leak Tavernier though.
Yeah, they got a bit of joy against Leipzig with that diagonal, Rory.
Pretty much as a 50-50 final. Perhaps the bookies having the Germans as very slight favourites.
Slight concern when Rangers are building their play and Ranjak leaves the middle of the pitch and Glenn Kamara goes forward and John Lundstrom goes to the left-hand side. They're leaving the middle of the pitch open, and that's where they've got to be careful, because Frankfurt want to break from there. I always think there has to be someone holding that area.
Aribo to thread it through to Kamara. It might come to Lundstrom. It does come to Scott Wright. Tavernier losing out to Kostic. Kamada. Now So and Ndika with the cam pass out to find Kostic. Now could get himself in a spot of bother, being closed down by Ryan Jack. That one was out, and it will lead to a Rangers corner and a burst of noise from those in blue.
Yeah, it's one of the times that Ryan Jack's press, Rory. Always feels as if Rangers are better on the front foot. It's very difficult under these conditions to do it for long periods.
I just think when there's an option to go and press someone and you only have to go 5 yards, go and do it. Go and drive your team forward, step into the game rather than dropping off, because they've earned a corner out of it.
Tavernier will have eyes for one man right now, and that will be Connor Goldson. Does drift towards the back where John Lundstrom is. Ryan Kent darts down the outside. He's fouled as a free kick in a dangerous position.
Yeah, that's just cynical. Drags him to the floor. Another opportunity to load the box.
But it's good from Kent, showing his pace, his explosive power just to go and drive past. So suddenly puts a little bit of doubt into defenders' minds.
Maybe a surprise that no yellow cards offered there.
Yeah, as I said earlier on, he's been very lenient.
I actually quite like how he's refereeing it. He's allowing the game to flow. He's not stopping and starting every opportunity.
Once again, Borna Barisic will take in. Been a good spell of pressure for Rangers. Barisic. It's Lundstrom. It's tapped over the top by Trapp.
Yeah, the ball was behind him, Rory. He had to generate the power. Comfortable in the end for Trapp. It's more of a looping header.
First effort on target though for Rangers. Perhaps drifting over the top, but Kevin Trapp wasn't taking any risks. Tavernier. It's a good leap by Ndika. He's the one who's come in for Hinteregger. Jack. Again, it's the desire to get Tavernier involved in the game, high up the pitch. Well, it's a fascinating battle with Kostic, and Tavernier mistimes his tackle there, and it's a sore one for the right ankle of the Serbian.
Yeah, no quarters given there. Both battling away for the ball. Correct decision in the end.
There's a Lundstrom header. I don't think it was ever really going to go in. The comfortable save in the end by Kevin Trapp. But you're right about the battle down this right-hand side for Rangers and the left-hand side for Frankfurt. Kostic, he loves going forward, he loves being expansive. I'm not too sure he fancies looking over his shoulder and having to run 30 yards back the way. So if Rangers could just get James Tavernier a little bit higher to try and influence him.
Kamada, misplaced from him. Dika towering over Aribo. Trapp looking to get Knauf involved. He's been quiet for the last wee while. This time, Bassi is fouled by Lundstrom.
Yeah, Bassi's done well again there. What a find he's been from Leicester. Growing in stature as the campaign's going on, the season's going on.
It probably epitomises Rangers in the last month or so, 6 weeks, that he's getting better with every game. There's a real understanding. His decision-making, Calvin Bassey, his positioning, everything about his game has just gone to the next level. And for someone so young, there's lots more improvement to come.
You can feel the nerves in the stadium. It is tense, so much on the line. Of course, the Europa League champions go directly into the Champions League next season as top seeds. Here's Wright. He's had a few good moments, the winger.
Yeah, it's a good start point for Rangers. Tavernier flicking round the corner to Joe Aribo. And Scott Wright gets him up the park.
Yeah, I think we have to tip our hat to Scott Wright, because many people thought Aaron Ramsey would start ahead of him, but certainly been a good threat for Rangers in this first half. He's been a good outball, he's been creative. Certainly Frankfurt a little bit uncomfortable trying to cope with him.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has trusted Scott Wright in these big games. Started home and away against RB Leipzig. Not tinkering with the 11 in personnel. They do have the option to change the system as well. Goldson, just a bit too much weight on that one, looking for Tavernier.
Yeah, it served him well, that outside the right foot. He hasn't quite found Tavernier as often as he'd like to.
Wright gets the flick up to Aribo. Tavernier can step forward again. Boré with the foul.
Yeah, it's a good spell this for Rangers.
I think Rangers sense it, that they're playing better, because they're more compact. There's more players around the ball whenever the ball turns over. They're stepping in front of the players and driving forward. So been a much better spell, and if there's ever a good time to score with 5 minutes to go before half time, this could be crucial.
Rangers finding some dominance. Tavernier. Lundstrom's at the back post. Kent will look to try and get there ahead of Knauf, but it was the German under-21s player that won that race. Bassey to Jack. A good picture around him to turn into the right area. Now Aribo, who just drops off the front. Kamara, who's slightly more of an attacking role in this system. Took his goal in the semi-final at Ibrox wonderfully well. Such a calm, cushioned finish into the corner. Barisic as Rangers force Eintracht Frankfurt to do the chasing. A long old evening without the ball.
It's important Rangers don't put the ball at risk. Just keep ticking the ball over, try and draw Frankfurt out, and then can Scott Wright find a pocket of space or Glenn Kamara?
Not on this occasion, Ryan Kent, but Rangers can pick up the loose ball. Barisic looks to thread one through to Aribo. The referee in close attendance made his decision early and decisively.
Yeah, I think it's easy for the defender to defend Rory. You know, he's running into no man's land there. Barisic got a good ball out there, stay in the central area, allow him to fire in the box.
He's an experienced defender, isn't it, by Tuta? He uses his body well, he just stands his ground. There's been a few occasions the balls came up to Joe Aribo and he feels like he has to play first time. He doesn't. Yeah. The Rangers players want him to take the touch. It means Ryan Kent can run across the face of him. Glenn Kamara can come and support him. I'm sure that's something Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will try and address at half-time.
Forward it goes from Tuta. Golson's header down, picked up by Boré, but won back by Tavernier. He's lost out to Lindstrom. A tug of the shirt leaves the Dane down, but Kostic continues. Kamada now feeds Knauf to steady himself before the cross, and it leads to another Frankfurt corner. There might be a talking to, at least for James Tavernier.
Yeah, I think he had a little tuggy shot there, however, very theatrical. I don't know where he's rolling about the pitch.
It's a moment of indecision for James Tavernier. He wanted someone beside him to square the ball to, and it wasn't on. That's a clear yellow card, isn't it? You know, he's impeded the player getting forward, but the referee, he let Ryan Kent put away with one earlier in the game.
And it comes from Kostic and Bassey, who was almost on the receiving end of a high boot.
One thing you can say about the ref, he's been fairly consistent.
Rhoda in the final minute of normal time of this first half. Kamada looking to work some of his magic for Frankfurt, but another attack breaks down.
It's certainly two teams evenly matched, isn't it? Calvin Bassey just shows his bravery to go and win the header. It's certainly evenly matched. There's lots of duels, interesting battles all over the pitch. First goal, as always in most games, is crucial, but you just think a night like tonight could be pivotal for the team that gets it.
Deacon's header means Rangers can move up the park.
Yeah, Kent and Wright switch wings. Try and get some joy down the right-hand side.
Here is Ryan Kent now. No foul by Kamada. There are 6 minutes, of course. Rhoda was down for a good while. That early head knock.
Yeah, the problem Borna Barisic had there was because Ryan Kent went wandering across the pitch. When he got in possession of the ball, there was nobody in front of him. There was no one outside him to give it to. So he's had to turn back and start again.
Dika is strong in the tussle with Aribo. Jack forward. By Toure. So's touch helps it into Aribo, and this is where Rangers can perhaps get an attack going. Aribo's done well. Kent looks for Aribo again, right in the middle. So too, of course, James Tavernier. It's left for Ryan Jack. And it rises over the top of Kevin Trapp's goal. But another opening for Rangers, who have got better and better as this half has gone on.
Yeah, Joe Aribo keeps hold of the ball. Ryan Jack just can't get over the top of it. He'll be disappointed. It's a half a chance.
Better from Joe Aribo though, isn't it? You know, not playing up against defenders, coming off, finding space, once again facing them up. Lovely little interplay. And Ryan Jack will look at that and think he should have done better. I think that was a better opportunity than what that shot gave him.
15 months since his last goal, of course. Ryan Jack has been out for a long time, but here's Bore. It's over the top of Kamada, who can though flick it to the crossing king Kostic. Blocked away by Lundstrom. Kostic, before tonight, had made just under 150 crosses during the Europa League run. Second was James Tavernier, but he was a whole 50-odd behind the Serbian. Those two direct opponents this evening.
Big Kostic, terrific delivery down his left-hand side.
Takes over from Dika. Roda. Now Knauf. Looks to take on Barisic. Matched him stride for stride. The Croatian emerges. It's Tuta that can step in. So now gathers. Picks out his central midfield teammate in Roda. It's for the man down. There's Kamara. Rangers win the free kick.
Yeah, Joe Aribo's constantly coming to feet. He needs to try and run the channels, get them up the pitch here, and Borna Barisic has the ball.
I think both teams will be happy to see half-time. Just taking a little bit of a breather, get hydrated. And then it becomes vitally important for the managers. Can they change something? Can they say something or give someone a little bit of a lift that they can go and win the game for their side?
It's the 64th match of a long season for Rangers. Nobody's played more games for club and country than Joe Aribo. 65 in total for the Nigerian international. Now Dika. Kostic versus Tavernier once again. Bore. Goldson thought perhaps the final touch had come off the Colombian, but it will be an Eintracht corner.
Tight games, cup finals, sometimes are decided by big moments. This is a big moment for Rangers. A minute and a half before half-time. Defensively, individually, do your job.
Kostic takes. It's another deep one. They've been creative with the corners up to now. Kent has won that brilliantly from Knauf, but Rangers can't quite get the counter going. Ryan Jack losing out to Jesper Lindstrom. Now into the final minute of the 6th additional at the end of this first half. Bore won't win too many aerial duels with Connor Goldson. Can Wright make for his opponent here. He's done just that as Shootout smashes it out into the crowd.
Yeah, done enough there, right? Gets him up the pitch. The last action of the half, I'd imagine.
And Rangers finds another opening before the break. Lundstrom. Goldson to Bassi. Quite content to just play out the half and get some inspirational words from their manager as the half-time whistle goes to bring an end to the opening 45 minutes of the Europa League final. No changes either side for the second half and the 13th Europa League final. No Scottish side has won this. No German side has won it. As the Europa League, the last 10 have been split between the Spanish and the English as the two superpowers of European football, but not this season. We are back underway. The Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. Barisic came under pressure from Jesper Lindström. Start Knauf into Soap. Knocked out by Touré, and now Knauf. Roda looks to help it on towards Boré. Headed away by Connor Goldson, and Barisic looks to complete the clearance.
Yeah, I think just to echo the thoughts of the boys at half-time, there's no doubt that Ryan Kent and James Tavernier have been so influential in big European games this season for Rangers. They need to have more of an impact.
Here's Roda. Now Knauf. Across comes Bassi. That was an important block.
Yeah, there's a real handful down this right-hand side. Knauf. It was Bassi who stops him there, recognised the danger.
Eintracht Frankfurt have started the stronger in the second half. Fifth corner to be taken by Filip Kostic. There's John Lundstrom, a towering presence at the heart of Rangers' defensive unit for that corner.
Sometimes you have to soak up a little bit of pressure. You've got to sit back, you've got to absorb, but do it diligently.
James Tavernier got a second bite at it after he showed a bit of encouragement to Lindstrom. Some of the pyrotechnics have led to the smoke. You certainly don't get clouds in this part of the world from our experience. That's hit from range by Tuta.
Yeah, just opens up for him. Rather ambitious from that area of the pitch. Comfortable then for McGregor.
Just have to regain their composure. They've been a little bit loose at the start of the second half. Ryan Jack had a chance to drop the ball into Joe Aribo. He just took it clear. So just settle down, relax, take touches and make simple passes.
Losing out to Goldson.
I like him. Kamada takes up really good positions. He's got a good change of pace. He's got a lovely little touch.
Lindstrom gets turned, deflected. Oh, there's relief for Rangers there. That one was not far away at all, and Alan McGregor was rooted to the spot with the deflection.
Yeah, it was good play here. Gets a shot away. McGregor doesn't know much about it. Rangers get false now.
Maintaining the pressure as Tavernier rises to knock it clear. Knauf, though, to maintain the attack. Tavernier once again. Right place, right time from the captain.
Yeah, good spell this for Eintracht.
Alright, they've played that many Rangers
German teams, yes.
throughout.
Yeah, they're under the cosh, but sometimes it's just about standing strong. Don't crack under the pressure. Rangers have got a newfound resilience about them, certainly in the last 5 or 6 weeks. This has to come to the fore in these moments.
Kamada had gone too soon, and the offside flag will release the pressure for now.
Yeah, they have a freedom, the front three. Always on the move, as you see this shot again. McGregor's gone the other way. Just flashes past the post.
It's a straightforward one for Tuta, but he didn't find a teammate. It was Jack that picked it up. Aribo linking the play really nicely with Scott Wright. Showed too much of it though to Almami Toure. It will come all the way to Rafael Borre. He can only present it to Glenn Kamara. John Lundstrom to stride forward, and he will continue that run. Tavernier, Aribo, Lundstrom had freed himself up on the right-hand side, looks for James Tavernier. And goes all the way through for the goal kick.
You just wonder if Gio's thinking about a change here. Possibly Roof get through the middles, the guys were talking about at half-time.
I think the slight little problem is when Joe Aribo comes off the game to link up the play, someone has to be a 9. Someone has to go and fill the space that he leaves, and no one's doing that at the minute.
Lindstrom's touch into the on-running Knauf was led by Jack. European appearance number 104 for Rangers. What a servant he has been to the club. He's had big moments already in this game as well.
This is where Rangers have had their problem. How can they get quality ball into the feet of Scott Wright or Joe Aribo or Ryan Kent? It's 2 or 3 square passes, then it's a longer one, which is playing into the hands of Frankfurt. So they need to mix it up a little bit.
Bassi.
It's long, it's a tough one for Aribo.
It's the wrong option, Rory. The switch of play. John Lundstrom on the far side. He just has to get his head up.
You see the demeanour of both managers. Here's Borre after the flick on, now looking to outstrip the Rangers defence, the Colombian. And he goes down under Golson's challenge. The referee has a look, has a think. The decision is corner.
VAR will have a look just in case. There's no contact in the ball from Connor Goldson. Is it clear and obvious enough?
I don't know if there's much contact on the player, Stephen.
I think he possibly puts his foot on the ground. This will give us a better angle. There is a little touch. There's actually a delayed reaction from Borre to go down. There is a potential penalty check.
It is being looked at by the VAR official, Paul van Bokel. Nervy wait.
Yeah, check's over.
That check has now come to an end. Rangers still, though, face the corner. Kostic delivers. There's Aribo with a powerful header away. Kostic can't keep that in.
Yeah, it's a warning to Connor Golson as well. You can't dip your toe in the box. Clever players.
And it all came from the back four getting themselves out of shape a little bit. There's certainly clear contact.
There's definitely a little bit of contact across them here.
Contact. VAR's been a little bit lenient as well as the referee on the pitch. But that all came because the back three get themselves out of shape. Calvin Bassey get dragged into an area he shouldn't really be getting into. Gunnar Golson didn't anticipate the flick on, so it's all about communication, staying rigid, being hard to play through. It was too easy in that case.
It's a big moment in a tight final, major talking point at this stage of the game. Now Tavernier, he spotted that he could isolate the space in behind Kostic. Now delivers, Kamara leaves it, comes to Aribo, now Kent! The best opening so far for Rangers. And it fell to the man they would have wanted it to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. James Tavernier down the right hand side. It's one of the times he's got down there. Lovely ball round the face, the over. You're a little bit fortunate here. He has to go back across the goalkeeper. Slashes at it. Best opportunity for Rangers so far.
And the two players we mentioned who could have an influence, James Tavernier and Ryan Kent, almost came to fruition, but he slashed at it. He was never comfortable. He's always trying to hit it as hard as he could, but that has to inspire Rangers.
Kostic now can find Kamada. Does the Japanese have up his sleeves now? Lundstrom got the slightest touch. Now Kostic, and it's into the arms of Alan McGregor.
Yeah, good battle down that left hand side. Rangers right.
I think that was James Tavernier on that last Rangers attack, being aware that Kostic is isolated at times. There's sometimes 30-40 yards in behind him. Just that deft little touch to get round the other side. He doesn't want to defend Kostic, so can Tavernier keep chipping away at him?
Lundstrom, Golson to Tavernier. Can't quite find Scott right now. Peter Walton has had a good look at that penalty decision. What was your take on the situation, Peter?
Well, actually, Rory, I'm rather surprised that the referee wasn't given the option of having a second look, because there's clearly contact from Golson on Bora, and for me, I thought that could have been a penalty kick.
Well, thank you, Peter. Rangers perhaps getting a major break there. Kevin Trapp, doesn't have too much to do in this second half so far, the Frankfurt goalkeeper. But here's Joe Aribo, a slip from Tutan. Aribo! A bolt from the blue! Joe Aribo takes his big chance. What a moment for Rangers to break the deadlock. Joe Aribo, the makeshift centre forward, turns the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan into bedlam. And Rangers lead in the Europa League final.
We did wonder, would it be a piece of magic, would it be a piece of brilliance that would help break the deadlock? It's a mistake, it's a slip. But Joe Aribo, he's got a lot of time to think about it. He has to compose himself, settle himself down, gets the ball out of his feet onto his favourite left foot, and simply just rolls the ball beyond Kevin Trapp. He's had a tough night, he's been isolated, he's been up against it at times, but when the big moment arrived, Joe Aribo has delivered.
Yeah, well finished by Joe Aribo. Slots it past the keeper. Very composed. Rangers get the breakthrough.
Jubilant celebrations on the bench, on the pitch, and most certainly in the stands. Around 2/3 of this stadium in the baking heat in Seville. It's Joe Aribo whose smile is the widest amongst all those in blue. What a sensational moment.
You'd expect that to open the game up a little bit, Rory.
Well, and Tuta has had to go off following that slip and picked up an injury. And Makoto Hasebe, the veteran Japanese comes on to now try and control Joe Aribo, but that's held back and struck by Lindstrom. They ask the question of handball. Eintracht Frankfurt are adamant that they should have a penalty.
Yeah, it's great play here to keep it alive. Lindstrom clearly hits his chest. Good decision by the referee again.
Well, it's good defending by Calvin Bassey, because it's easy in that situation just sometimes to allow your hand to move.
Corner cleared, and Rangers have an issue with a head knock now, and that Eintracht Frankfurt are further enraged by the decision to stop the play, but Scott Wright needs attention here. Concern amongst the Rangers players.
Well, the referee's right to stop the game because it was a clear clash of heads. I think it's Lindstrom on the back of Scott Wright's head. And for the Rangers players, it's just simply refocus. The goal's got to be put to bed. You've got a job to do. Frankfurt are going to get a lift. Their supporters are going to try and get behind them. They will up the tempo. And Rangers, for the next 5 or 6 minutes, just make sure you ride it out and try and take this thing out of the game.
1961, Alex Scott. 1972, Colin Steen and Willie Johnson with a double. Now, Joe Aribo in 2022, Rangers goal scorer in major European finals.
65 games as well, Rory, an incredible tally for one season.
His 9th goal of the season, the first in this competition. What a time to get it. Up goes Kent to beat Knauf, but now the head knock is Almami Touré's concern.
I think it was a ball that struck his face there.
This actually might help Rangers. Just allows the game to settle down, allows them to suck some air in. Because when you go ahead, the emotions are high, the adrenaline's pumping. The game will allow itself to settle down. This is where I think the likes of Connor Goldson and James Tavernier have to get around the players. Just reassure the younger ones, make sure they do their jobs. Match your runners, do the hard yards and the hard leg work.
As we see the ball there again, it's good pressing by Wright, kept it alive. This is Joe Aribo, so composed, just slots it past the keeper.
Yeah, we spoke all night about Rangers potentially missing a natural centre forward. Well, they certainly finished that like a natural centre forward, Joe Aribo. Probably quite unusual for him to travel 20-30 yards with the ball, have so many thoughts going through his mind, and all he'd been thinking is hit the target, hit the target. And he just slaughtered it past Kevin Trapp. And I don't think this is a night really where you want to be chasing the game. It's hot, it's humid, you're going to have to exert a lot of energy. Rangers may just soak up a little bit of pressure and use the pace of Ryan Kent and Scott Wright on the counter-attack.
Well, Almami Touré does get back to his feet, but rather gingerly. We do hope that he is okay to continue. It's always a concern when players have a head knock. Amongst that, Joe Aribo was yellow carded, the first to go into the Slovenian referee's notebook in this Europa League final. Kamada, now Roda with the ball out to Kostic, and So, whose header turned out to be the assist for Aribo's goal, perhaps one that he didn't need to go for as well. Ndika and Kostic, and the final touch comes off the Frankfurt player, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, did well down the right-hand side. Tavernier gets close, gets a break of the ball. Good defending.
I think it's vitally important Rangers, the players, don't start looking at the clock and thinking about taking a step back, trying to protect what you've got. You're still a long way from home. You've still got to take part in the game and do the things that come natural to you.
Seville, age of 38. It's Roda, and now Wright looks for the run of Aribo. Hasebe is the one that makes the challenge, and then emerges with the ball. There's so much experience, but had to get the timing on that one right.
Yeah, we said all night how aggressive they are. They like to get tight to Aribo, try to get a little bit of contact.
Aribo. It goes. Rangers have played in Spain 14 times. They've only won once, but it was in the one that mattered most, the Cup Winners' Cup final, 1972 in Barcelona. Billy Waddle's team triumphing against Dynamo Moscow. Could it be happening all over again? The advantage is slim but vital as Borre helps that on to Lindstrom. Goldson wins one, wins the second. Hasebe though outleaps Kamara. Lindstrom, clever ball up to Knauf. Bassi. Well, that was superb defending from Calvin Bassi.
Yeah, it was excellent. Once again, seen his strength, anticipation, brilliant.
Kamada taken down by John Lundstrom.
It's just something we've become accustomed to with Calvin Bassi.
Yeah.
We keep being shocked and we keep praising him, but he does it week after week. Really good with his body, his position, he knows where to put it. It's going to be needed in these next 25 or 30 minutes, that's for sure.
Goldson, he's going to have to stretch for another one. It presents the ball to Roda. Kamada, can he keep his cool? Well, not quite.
What an opportunity.
Over the top.
What an opportunity. As we see here, Connor Goldson's first touch. It's poor. A lovely ball round the corner from Roda. You have to say, what a golden opportunity. Passed up.
And we've seen time and time again in this Europa League, Daichi Kamada is usually so calm in front of goal.
High margins. Joe Aribo got the benefit of a slip, scored. Kamada gets the benefit of a slip, doesn't score. Big moments, huge moments that are crucial.
Yeah, 5 goals in 12 games. Kamada, impressive return.
Still no Japanese player has scored in a major European final. As we enter the final quarter of this game, if it is to last just 90 minutes. Goldson. Neatly done by Kent. Had to stretch. Well won by Tavernier. Around the corner by Wright. Tavernier again rises highest. Kostic. Down to Roda, who returns it to the danger man Kostic. Digs his cross out as well, but there's Calvin Bassi to win another ball into the Rangers box. Dika. So Kostic tries to return it.
Yeah, Wright's done a good job down there, doubling up, helping Tavernier.
Jens Peter Hauge will be joining us shortly. And it's gone in! The equaliser from Raphael Borré! Eintracht Frankfurt right back in this final. A real poacher's finish. And it's a Colombian striker who makes his mark on the Europa League final. 1-1.
Yeah, it's all about the ball, Rory. Kostic flashed it across the face. Ora gambles. Gives McGregor no chance.
I just wonder, can Scott Wright shut off the cross? It's the only one place he wants to put it when he's on the touchline. James Tavernier this time isn't with Kostic. He allows him to open himself up and bend it in. Then Connor Golson, you think, is his positioning wrong? Can he cover that front post area a little bit more? Bassey doesn't anticipate the ball's coming into his area, but Borré does. He plays with Kostic. That's his trademark. He opens up his body and he fires it into a wonderful area. Alan McGregor can't react, and you've got to say, since they conceded, they've really cranked up the pressure, Frankfurt.
A man who scored, or won rather, the Copa Libertadores in 2018 in a classic derby between River Plate and Boca Juniors that was played in Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, as the players come for the second water break of this final. And what a timing that is for Eintracht Frankfurt to get their equaliser. And Jens Peter Hauge, the young Norwegian, comes on and into the game to replace Jesper Lindström. And he's a man who has history against the other side of Glasgow, scoring home and away in the Europa League group stages a couple of years ago for his parent club AC Milan. Well, 2 European finals to come live on BT Sport. The Europa Conference League final from Albania is next Wednesday. It's AS Roma against Feyenoord, 7:30 on 1HD and Ultimate. And the Champions League final will come from Paris. Liverpool against Real Madrid, Saturday the 28th of May from 6 PM on 1HD and Ultimate.
So we wanted the game to come to life. He thought there was more in it. Both teams had a bit of improvement to do. Boy, have they delivered. This second half has been end-to-end. The tempo's up. The Frankfurt fans are now right behind their team. What do Rangers have in response? That's the key question.
There's Knauf. Who can gain the ascendancy? Now it's level again. Kent. It's Roda, though, that steps in and halts Kent's progress. Kamada turns away from Scott Wright, and there's a few players unhappy with that, and the referee is across to show the yellow card to the Rangers player.
Yeah, he just skips past him. Rory pulls him back here.
I think he accepted he was going to get a yellow card.
Absolutely.
I think it was just the reaction of Kamada that Scott Wright wasn't happy with.
There will be a reaction from the Rangers bench to that equaliser. It's going to be a double change. Fashion Sakala and Stephen Davis will be coming on shortly. But here's Kostic looking to deliver another telling ball into the middle, but James Tavernier had him under strict control.
Yeah, Tavernier's done very well against Kostic defensively, but as you see there, he's through Wright's legs. He gambles, and that's his reward.
I just think Connor Golson has to be in that near post area. We can't allow that ball to go between him and Alan McGregor.
Double change it is for Rangers as Ryan Jack makes way, and it will be the experience of 37-year-old Stephen Davis to come on. The man who started in the 2008 final in Manchester against Zenit St. Petersburg. And Scott Wright is the second change from Giovanni van Bronckhorst. As Fashion Sakala comes on for him. And Joe Aribo will likely drift out to the right-hand side and allow the Zambian international to go through the middle.
Yeah, Davis will go in the centre of the park, Rory. He'll try and get possession of the ball, get Rangers on the attack.
Here is Aribo. Back to Tavernier. Not the cleanest of touches away by Toure. Kent venturing infield but legally halted. There's Hauger. Boré.
I think the two subs from Giovanni van Bronckhorst make sense because they need a little bit of pace up top. If you're going to sit back and soak up pressure, you need pace in the counter-attack. Sakala brings that, and I think they've lost ownership of the game. So Stephen Davis coming on just gives you that little bit more composure and experience in that area of the pitch.
Boré goes down, but so too does Conor Goldson. The free kick will go Rangers' way.
Yeah, Boré, clever player, Rory, likes to drop into pockets. Brings people into play. Fouls Goldson on that occasion.
Well, there's no doubt even conceding that goal for Frankfurt had galvanised them. They've got their backs up a little bit. It gave them energy to go and try and force the game. Now it's back finally poised once again.
Quarter of an hour to go. Tavernier, Goldson the target, but Toure watched it all the way. Clearance from Knauf, and he was impacted by Lundstrom.
Yeah, it's an easy decision as we see this goal again. It's a lovely ball round the face. Just gets ahead of Bassi. As all good strikers do, get across the face, Stephen.
Yeah, it may seem a bit slightly critical of Conor Goldson, but he's just a yard away from where he should be, particularly when he knows that the cross is going to come in. Kostic has the ability to put it in there, Alec. He's got to cover that area.
Kamada now running beyond the Rangers backline. Picks out Roda too, Sebastian Roda, and now Jens Peter Hauger knocks it over the top. He couldn't find the composure.
Yeah, it's good play by Roda. Driving into the box. Sets him up well. Gets it all wrong. Leaning back. Good opportunity though. Finally poised.
By Aribo. Now Goldson takes it back to McGregor without any problems. Bowls it out for Barisic and space for the Croatian to run into. Roda closes off that space though, pressurises, and look at Oliver Glasner, who was loving that from his captain.
Yeah, it's the wrong decision by Barisic. Flip it in behind. Get them turned, puts himself under pressure.
Well read by Bassi. Nasebe taking a chance against Sakala, and there was just a push in the back of the veteran defender.
Yeah, correct decision.
Do you know what though? It puts a little bit of doubt in the mind of Hasebe. He thinks, if it's a 1v1 foot race, he's probably going to beat me. So it just puts a little bit of doubt into his mind. Sakala has him for pace.
You're 38 years of age, that was not a race that you fancy. Really important flick of the foot from James Tavernier to cushion that ball and kill the danger stone dead. Now Knauf. condition of these players really being tested. It's hot and humid as the game goes on. We've mentioned it before in games, but the work that Arno Phillips has done, and in the previous regime under Steven Gerrard's guys, how this side becomes so fit.
Sometimes fitness is in the mind. You've got to keep yourself switched on mentally. The legs may start to go. You've got to convince the brain you're okay. Keep going. It's worth it. What, 11 minutes left in a major European final. They know what's at stake. They know what the outcome is. Suffer through the pain. Do the hard yards. Make sure you get the job done.
Kostic now. And for Alan McGregor, the bouncing ball. Tipped over the crossbar, taking no chances.
Yeah, it was a good ball. Awkward end for McGregor, backtracking, takes no chances.
Such a wicked ball, isn't it? You know, he puts so much movement on the ball. Kostic, and once again, if he goes in front of the Frankfurt fans, he'll put this into some venom.
Frankfurt are believing in an almighty comeback, but there's Stephen Davis, a telling header at the front post. Boré, that will be a goal kick. Boré thought he should have had the corner, or perhaps he was trying to convince the referee.
Yeah, just showing the goal again, Scott Wright. Can you get a little bit closer? Can you stop the cross coming in? So many small things in that goal that Rangers just do that a little bit better.
Well, you have to credit Eintracht Frankfurt. Losing the opening goal was always going to be huge. It would take character to bounce back from that. Tavernier. Can Rangers now bounce back from their setback? Kamara, the flag has gone up though.
Yeah, just straight offside in that occasion.
I have to say, it's been a fascinating watch, it really has. I think both teams in the first half just measured each other up, nullified each other, cancelled the attacking threats out, but the goal from Joe Aribo has really opened the thing up. And it's not about being brave, it's not about being assertive and trying to make something happen so your team can lift the cup.
Sakala couldn't quite hold it in. Seville. Trapp. Bassi just steadied himself. Too many of the players fancy an extra 30 minutes in these conditions. That's where we're heading at the moment though. Bassi remains strong.
Outstanding, Rory. That's tremendous defending for a young player. Just burst onto the scene really this season. So powerful.
Rangers Young Player of the Year, and he just goes from strength to strength. Nervy 7 minutes to come.
They just have to remain switched on.
Boré. Mouth. And everyone. Fire it clear.
Just can't get hold of the ball, can they, Rangers? You know, their passing out of defence has been long again in the second half. Need to get Steve Davis on the ball, Glenn Kamara, they're good technical footballers.
Now again, Rhoda ahead of him. Nice ball back. Knauf, he was always trying to get it back on his right foot. And now Sakala. Can he outpace Hasebe again? Sakala, well timed by the Japanese. There's another one that keeps himself in top condition despite nearing the end of his career, but it's help through from Kamara, and there's Sakala. Kevin Trapp holds on.
Yeah, it was well worked on the left-hand side. Kamara does well. I think it's an acute angle, very ambitious to score for there. Probably better to flash it across goal, takes a little deflection in fairness.
This header's a good one to Tavernier. Seville, Roda, Kamada. Knauf. Hauger knocks it off Bassi. Just seems to come out on top in everything that he does.
Yeah, one-to-one Jones is excellent.
I think a little change of position for Joe Aribo probably hasn't worked at the minute, hasn't had enough of the ball. He wants to run at people. He's going to have to go looking for the ball.
Lundstrom cushions it down. Davis. Forward from Barisic, but Hasebe is there. Now So. Inside the final five now. Is there to be something hugely dramatic? There will be eventually, but does it come in the next 4.5 minutes or not? There's a chance to seize glory. The way that the path to this final has opened up, made by these two teams, they will both see it as the perfect opportunity to get major silverware.
I feel like if someone was to lose now in 90 minutes, it would be very hard done by. It's been such a competitive game, played at a ferocious pace, but I'm sure one team would certainly take it.
Such an evenly matched final. So, to Kamada. Hauger. Kamada again. Spreads it out to Knauf. Three in the box, a fourth joining them, but Knauf can't find the telling delivery. Oh, and Barisic ensured that didn't come, and Kent's taken two of them out of the play. Now Aribo, he's been searching for this kind of space. Kamara was just on the stretch. Now Kostic. It was a tired ball.
Yeah. The game's getting stretched, Rory. Fatigue very much kicking in.
See, when the game becomes stretched and the body gets tired, it's all about simplicity. Don't try and complicate the game. Don't try and hit the longest pass or the most difficult pass. Just tick the game over, pass your time on to someone else and allow them to make something happen.
Olsen out to Tavernier. Can't imagine there'll be too many risks taken, but if the opportunity presents itself, they will try to take it as Hauger goes for the killer pass to Bore.
Yeah, it's end-to-end stuff at the moment.
Given away by Sakala. Kamada. Bore makes the run from into out. Kostic wasn't attacking the back post, but it does come his way. Kostic fizzes one all the way across, but no takers.
Yeah, it all came from Sakala's poor touch in the middle of the park. What a ball this is for Kostic again, flashing round the face. No takers this time. Too much pace on the ball.
Ashton Sakala has to do so much better. It's a simple 5-yard ball. You're coming on in a major final. Your team needs you. The team needs you to hold the ball, to get up the pitch. It's got to be much better than that.
Well, it's a change that sees Sebastian Rode, the Eintracht Frankfurt captain, go off, and Christian Jakic, an international teammate of Borna Barisic, come on. Jakic has started 10 in this Europa League run of 12 games, of course. By topping their group, Eintracht Frankfurt didn't need to play in the playoff round where Rangers met Borussia Dortmund. Didn't need to play any qualifiers either.
Yeah, looks offside there. Just went a little bit early.
It's such a feature of their play, though. You know, we watch Leipzig and we watch Dortmund. They always have someone trying to stretch the game in behind. If anything, just to try and attract the defender to them, and it may free up space for someone else. So it's something that's a recurring theme, and they will continue to do it.
5 additional minutes at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. Everyone checking their watch, starting the stopwatch now. Davis picks up, finds Tavernier. Davis looks early. Kamara, Aribo. Kamara with the shots. Now Sakala. Barisic. And it's blocked off by Toure. Oh, it was promising for Rangers there.
Stephen Davis.
Yeah.
What about the part he plays, Alec? Composure. Doesn't just fire it into the box. Picks a player out.
Yeah, a lot of reverse
Could
pass.
be huge in the rest of this game. It goes to extra time.
Yeah. Sakala needs to sort his touch out. There's a simple ball into his feet. Try and retain possession.
Rangers can stay high. Sakala. He'll wrestle with Jakic. Bore. He was fouled by Bassi.
He's a clever player. Bora.
I'm not sure he does an awful lot wrong, Calvin Bassi. You know, he goes tight, he has to. I think that's just a playing incident where 2 players are trying to get an edge. I think he's
Unlucky there, yeah.
very unjust free kick.
Dika to Hasebe, who's taken over the captain's armband since Rode went off. Bassi now just got there ahead of Barisic. Turns the pressure on to Calvin Bassi. Toure presents it straight to Kent. Jakic with the foul. Certainly contested by the Eintracht bench.
Yeah, it took his time. He got there in the end though. Just pulls him back here.
In the reflection of the game, I still think there's more to come from Ryan Kent.
Yeah, without doubt. I think when we talk about top players, key players within games, been relatively quiet so far tonight.
Davis puts it into Sakala. As Rangers enjoying the possession, the pressure in stoppage time.
They just need one moment of quality, one bit of composure, a bit of brilliance, something in the next couple of minutes to change the whole narrative of this game.
Kent gets to the byline. In it comes now, perhaps from Borna Barisic. The smartest of clearances from Toure. Rangers fans urging their men on. One last effort. Davis back to Barisic. Drop for Kamada. He knows the space is out to the left-hand side, and Kostic in a race with Goldson. He was always going to win it. Doesn't look like there's a yellow card coming out for Filip Kostic though.
He covered the ground well there. Goldson gets out early. Not a great deal of contact, sees it coming.
Heart and desire shown by Connor Goldson. Maybe his penultimate game in a Rangers shirt. Contract up at the end of the season. Heart of Midlothian to come in the Scottish Cup final on Saturday. Barisic. Final seconds ticking away. Bassi. We are extra time bound. Can somebody grasp the match in extra time and win it for their team, create history? We're back underway. 30 minutes to go.
And I think a little reshuffle. Fashion Sakala looks like he's moved on to the right-hand side. I have to say, he looked uncomfortable playing through the middle. His link-up play, his hold-up play wasn't good enough. So now, can he do some damage in this right-hand side against Kostic? That'll be a real challenge for him.
Scott Arfield's first touch. He rises again. It's a problem for Jakic. He's taken a knock in the middle of the park. Looks a little uneasy, the Croatian. Toure back to his feet, but Jakic is now up.
It's now survival of the fittest. Who wants it most? Who's prepared to run harder and longer and further than their opponent? Who really wants to go and grab it? Grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Look around your teammates. Be the instigator. Go and make it happen.
It's going to be a late finish in Seville. It's off Asabe. Ryan Kent quickly retrieving the ball. Needed extra time to overcome Braga. It's Tavernier. It's Hasebe, Kamada. Now So. Kostic. Lundstrom gets the touch. And it does go out for a corner kick.
You get a touch also, Rory. Lovely little ball by Kostic again, just round the face.
Energy sapping. Kostic takes, it's Tavernier. The header away, Kent completes the clearance.
This is where the Rangers players need the Rangers fans. The noise has gone up. I think the fans realise the players need energy. They need a purpose. They need something to keep pushing them on.
More. Kostic. The run comes from Hauga. Draws Bassi all the way across to this left-hand side. Now Kent up to Aribo. He's trying to help it on to Arfield. It comes at the second attempt. Sakala. Barisic making strides on the outside of him, but it comes into Arfield. Always rising.
Yeah, well worked. Unfortunately, Arfield just couldn't get over the top of the ball. Leaning back.
He's off the bench to get Rangers back into their Scottish Cup semi-final recently. Man who can make a real impact. Aribo trying to use his body against the intelligent Makoto Hasebe. Now Knauf. Kamada back to So. The free man is Hauger. His space closed off. Now Sakala. And this will be a battle that he will fancy he can win. Any foot race for Sakala. He has to turn back. There might be a problem though for Evan and Dika. Just seem to pull up. Keep an eye on him. Tavernier. Sakala back to Davis.
That should be the sign for Sakala every time he gets the ball. Just run it and Dika. I think it's cramp he's hobbling about with. So once you pace him up, just knock the ball into the space and see if he fancies it.
Oh, Bassi now has slipped and Boré bears down on Alan McGregor. It's Raphael Boré, but back comes Calvin Bassi. Well, he made the initial mistake. Alan McGregor closed down too. And that saved a major opportunity.
Yeah, it was a lapse of concentration. Just loses his footing. To be fair, it gets back. There's enough.
Look at his desire, Alan. He knows he's made a mistake. You're talking about players knowing what's at the end of this game. Incredible recovery.
Kostic takes a header away by Borna Barisic. Ansgar Knauf closed down by Kent. Was he held back? No, says Mr. Vincic. Rangers fans don't like it. It's Hasebe. Picks out Jakic and Tavernier wins the free kick.
I think the one in Ryan Kent is more of a free kick than that one in James Tavernier. But I just wonder in the referee's mind, is he thinking that probably was a free kick, so I'll sort it out 5 seconds later. This was Calvin Bassi. This is just a player full of confidence. He just believes no matter what he does is going to happen. But it would have been easy to give that up and think, well, I hope he doesn't score. But he has the mindset, the mentality to go and chase it down.
Great desire, Stephen, you're absolutely right.
Bassi picks out Connor Goldson. James Sands maybe making his entrance shortly. Still no Kemar Roof for Rangers. Battled to get himself fit. He only came back to training this week. Still no Aaron Ramsey.
Davis has done well since he come on. Took up a nice little position in the base of the midfield. Keep things ticking over.
He also holds him into the pitch. Seldom does he vacate it, Alec can leave it open for a counter-attack. He always just hovers about, expecting something to break down, and he's ready to capitalise on it.
Arfield does well to win the throw as the instructions come the way of the American international, but there will be change for Eintracht Frankfurt to Christopher Lenz.
His own and made the point ahead of the game about not just the players who start but the substitutes. Well, it could have a big impact in this game. And he's absolutely spot on. We're now into that territory. Who wants to step up?
Turn by Aribo, straight into Hasebe.
Good play again by Bassi. blocks the run off. Boré.
John Lundstrom. Gregor. Midfield man and Lundstrom. Towards Aribo, that's a really good header to win. Sandwiched between two Eintracht Frankfurt players. Now Kent on the chase. He's burnt his man for pace. Kent to deliver. Sakala goes for it, drops for Arfield. It's So that gets in. Davis tries to win it. Kamada feeds it out to Knauf. Bassi trying to make up the ground on him. Knauf is quick. Gets his shot away. Bassi did more than enough.
Running out of superlatives for this guy. Absolutely outstanding recovery for that young man. No wonder he's blown. Tremendous.
He just eats up the ground.
Oh, it's tremendous.
He eats up the ground. He uses his presence. He uses his arm, Alec. I mean, look at the shot Knauf ends up having compared to what he could have had.
22 as well. Just learning his trade.
Frustrating Rafael Boré on his way.
It'd be a nightmare to play against Rory.
There's an alteration coming first for Eintracht Frankfurt as Christopher Lenz comes on for Evan Ndika. Straight swap, and there were a few tired, anguished faces. It will be the Rangers sub that is made now, and Joe Aribo, Rangers goal scorer, takes the applause around the stadium. His goal looked to put Rangers on course to deliver the Europa League. James Sands comes on for the Nigerian international.
Yeah, and Scott Arfield now becomes Rangers' third centre forward of the night. Again, in an unnatural position for him, but sometimes you sacrifice yourself. This is the selfless game with what's at the end, but what's at stake. Scott Arfield will have to fight his corner, try and hold the play up, try and link the play as best he can. It just shows the magnitude of the achievement from Rangers, where they didn't have a centre forward in the two semi-finals, and they don't have one tonight yet. They're still well in the game.
Yeah, going to a back three, Stephen. Barisic and Tavernier will try and get a bit high up.
The versatility of Sands coming in use here. It also allows Lundstrom to step forward into his more natural position in the heart of the pitch. Tavernier beats Kostic. Picks out Sakala. Arriving now is Davis. Oh, what a moment that would have been. Now the chase is on for Boré against Goldson. Goldson has to be clever here. And the decision goes his way.
Their handball. He did well there, Goldson. He managed to get contact, to get Boré off balance.
I don't think Connor Goldson would want too many more of those, though. A 1v1 with half a pitch, but great defending, you've got to say, by Frankfurt. The ball fell to Stephen Davis. You can see what he's trying to do, trying to guide it into that bottom corner. But they block it well.
His only goal of the season, Stephen Davis, was that dramatic late one in Sweden against Malmo. It seemed so important at the time. That seems such a long time ago. The disappointment from that night was huge, and after it you could never imagine what would come.
I think Frankfurt have dropped off the game a little bit, whether that's because of Rangers substitutions and maybe their fitness levels are telling, but Frankfurt have sat off for a little bit. They haven't really got going in this extra time. Are they trying to conserve their energy for the second part of it and try and chase the game? Time will tell.
Trapp's clearance. Let it bounce. Lundstrom and Davis, though, battling away in the middle of the park. Now, Sakala, he'd almost isolated Lenz, who took one big stride to make sure that Sakala couldn't get past him.
Yeah, he's unfortunate there, Sakala, trying to be positive.
Hamada won it well ahead of Lundstrom, and now Bore, Jokic and Knauf. Still Knauf, looks for Hauge. He was retreating, touch came off the back of him. Final minute of the first half in extra time. Jokic. Hasebe picks out his countryman Kamada. Hauge makes the run. Kamada behind Bore. In comes Barisic. He's inadvertently found Sakala, knocks it past Lenz.
Surely that's a yellow card, Rory.
Free kick. The referee looks unmoved at the moment.
It's as cynical as a foul you're going to see tonight.
Said it earlier, Alec. He's been consistent. He's consistently refused to give yellow cards for yellow card offences. It's a clear yellow card. Sebastian Sakala does really well. That's a promising attack. He's stopping a promising attack.
Certainly Calvin Bassey knew nothing about that ball as it came off the back of his elbow. There'll be one additional minute. Oh, it's tense. It's for sure. So, Arfield wins it well. Now Kent, has he got something special up his sleeve? He's well defended though. Not quite yet. Lenz wins it. Jakic to So. Kostic looking for Knauf. Was well watched all the way by Barisic. And I think that will be that for half-time in extra time. Barisic just catching, or Knauf catching Barisic rather after he'd knocked it away. Arfield adding some bite to Rangers in this opening half of extra time, but the whistle goes, it remains unchanged at the break in extra time. Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Rangers 1.
Thank you, Rory. 15 minutes to go. Ali, you can barely watch.
It's incredible. The first thing I've got to say is Calvin Bassey has been absolutely phenomenal so far. Yeah, immense. His recovery from when he slips to get back and make the block for the corner was remarkable itself. He has been a colossus this evening. It's interesting. The Sakala, he's given us something on the right hand side. Okay, we're getting a little bit frustrated, but at least he's direct. He's forcing one or two free kicks. He's trying to get behind the left hand side. I think he's still fairly positive, I really do.
They could still make two more changes. Aaron Ramsey is still on that bench, Kenny.
Well, listen, for me, there's question marks about is there something up with the fitness, is there something happened? Because he's the type of player in these games, this is why you bring him to the football club. The size of this game, the magnitude and everything that's at stake, there's no doubt, I think we all agree, that he can bring something to this game. He can affect it in a real positive way. Like you say, there's still two opportunities to bring players on, so will we see him at some point? But there's a lot of changes that already been made. I mean, again, you've seen Sands come on. It's with a change of the formation a little bit, him going to the right centre back and Lundstrom going back into midfield. But I think Aaron Ramsey has got something to offer.
Oh, I know the lads are tired on the pitch, but the fans look tired as well.
They looked exhausted, didn't they?
Everybody's exhausted. But look, Ali said it before, the game's there to be won for someone. Someone go grab it. I know everybody's nervous and a bit of tension. Somebody go grab the game. It's there to be won.
Somebody will be a hero. You know, you can make a hero of yourself tonight.
you know something? I've still got a good feeling about it. I'm not sure he has, but I've still got a good feeling about it. I really do.
Okay, here we go again. Back over to Rory Hamilton.
Well, there's going to be a further change from Oliver Glasner, and it will see Austrian international Aynan Rustic come on, the attacking midfielder. The only change for the second half. Extra time. Rustic in for Jibril Sow. The Rangers support look to rally their troops. A huge 15 minutes in the history of this football club. Borna Barisic. Both sides have given absolutely everything. Goldson looks to ping one out to Tavernier. Sakala has done well to find Tavernier. Lundstrom. Davis quickly out to Barisic, great hit. Kevin Trapp. He saw it all the way, but he had to just make sure he got something on it. Tavernier can't quite get on the end of that from Davis, though.
Yeah, it was a lovely strike by Borna Barisic. Didn't expect Trapp to save it, though. A little bit of movement.
Got to say, Rangers continue to be the protagonists. They're the side in the ascendancy, the freshness in that midfield area with Scott Arfield up top, the pace that Ali was talking about of Sakala. Can they just get one passage of play together? One passage that would make the difference.
Davis is going to lose out here to Hauge and Knauf. And it's struck by the substitute, Rustic. His first involvement is to drag that one wide of goal.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity. You can see here, just picks a pass. Just runs it past the post.
And John Lundstrom just does enough to put him off his lunging body.
Wins it but can't find a teammate. The 20 attempts haven't troubled Alan McGregor too much. Bassey's out of position here as Knauf continues forward. And the foul goes the way of Borna Barisic.
Yeah, the players are dead on their feet. Bassey get cramped there. On the Barisic also.
I think it's fair to say that's unorthodox as a defender. It's Calvin Bassey yet again. I tell you what, he falls from a great height. The last thing Rangers want to see is Calvin Bassey struggling and potentially having to go off. Borna Barisic's the same. You've got to get through cramp. You've got to convince yourself you're fine. Push through the pain barrier.
McGregor looks long, Lenz positioned himself under the ball and Kostic sends it up to Boré. Settle for Goldson. Smart duck from Lenz.
Tired ball through.
It's just every time he gets the ball, he's trying that diagonal with the outside of his foot, and that longer pass, Connor Goldson. When the opposition expect it, That's the time to mix it up. Play a shorter one, try and suck him in. So next time you get it, the space may be on and behind.
Coulson. Comes Lenz, comes now to Davis. Hasebe. Been really steady since he came on. That's a loose pass, seized upon by Lundstrom. Davis can now pick up. Delivered by Barisic. There's two at the back post. One's Tavernier, Lundstrom the other. There's Rustic that can start the counter for Hauge. Now Kamada. Sands got an important touch off the chest. The supporters from Germany not happy with that. They felt handball could have been given. Inside the final 10 minutes. Again back to Trapp. Talked about Rangers' previous extra time against Braga that was required for Frankfurt against Real Betis in the round of 16. An own goal in the 121st minute saw them through. Actually won in this city, won twice in Spain this season, Barcelona and in Seville. Now gets the strike away. Goldson stretches to clear. It's Kostic with another good ball in. Down goes Kamada. The referee got a good look at it. Waves play on.
It's actually a good decision by McGregor not to play on, because Bassey's getting cramp again. Slow the game down.
Kamada actually runs into Bassey. Bassey has no idea he's standing behind him. But yet again, it's Kostic's that tantalising delivery.
Sands looks for Arfield. It's Hasebe with the header away. Lundstrom now to mount another attack. Kent. That's Barisic to run. Well tracked by Jakic.
Still think we need more from Kent. I really do. He's got that burst of pace. The defenders are tired. He's stuck to the touchline all night. I would like to see him drift inside a little bit and see if he can cause some damage.
He's dead. He's dead his feet, mate. He's last 5 minutes of injury time.
Now Goldson. And Sands. Tavernier wins it from Kostic. Sakala just couldn't control it at the crucial moment. Goldson with a really good header to find Lundstrom. Kent, what can he do from there? Hit with power, right direction too. But it needs to be something pretty special to beat Kevin Trapp from that range.
Yeah, it was a lovely strike. Keeper anticipated it. Quite comfortable.
Told you, drift inside the pitch. That's where the space is, not in these wide areas. You must have heard me.
Just took a touch which maybe took some of the extra sting out of the shot. It's helped on up to Boré. Knauf runs past Barisic. The cross into the middle for Hauge. Lenz wins it. Rustic. Jakic. Oh, and Alan McGregor was worried.
It was a lovely strike where he just cuts across the ball beautifully.
Going Barisic, isn't it? Yeah, he's down. As we see, a great strike. And Jakic just cuts right across the ball. Thankfully for Rangers, and Alan McGregor's always rising.
There's a nice connection. Thankfully it was just rising.
The thing is, as you edge towards penalty kicks, I think Rangers have got 2 substitutions left, possibly. You then have to think about who might take the penalties. As Kemar Roofe gets his top off, and Aaron Ramsey, I think, will also be coming on. It looks like, anyway.
Well, Roofe is readied for action. Here's Hauge. Goldson wins it, and it is a goal kick.
Yeah, no complaints. Clearly comes back off. The player is Borna Barisic is down again. You have to say both sets of players put some incredible effort in tonight. The temperature, so humid.
It never cools down in this city. And the change will see Borna Barisic come off for Kemar Roofe. The Croatians' evening is over. Just wonder how Rangers will set up from making this alteration.
Yeah, they may put Lundstrom back to centre half and Bassey just coming to the left. That's an option.
Well, Aaron Ramsey is coming on as well. It's going to be a double change. And it will be Fashion Sakala that comes off for him. Came off the bench. Sakala, he doesn't want to make way. And he will head to the far side. A real shame for Sakala, but needs must.
Yeah, I think they've done that with penalties in mind, albeit we still get 5 or 6 minutes to go. He had injury time on. Ramsey, Roofe, more technical.
Managers have to make big calls. That's what managers are paid for. PC's fitting that Aaron Ramsey's a better option in the latter stages of the game, plus penalty kicks, then he's every right to make that decision.
Lundstrom drops into the defence. Bassey will go to the left-hand side. Sands now looks for Kemar Roofe. Something different up top now for Rangers. Roofe sends it across, coming in is Kent! And now out to Davis! Oh, it's over the top. Oh, it looked certain to be the moment for Rangers. They're pleading with the referee.
That was a chance, Rory. Simple ball down the channel. Kemar Roofe flashes it across the face. Saves it with his legs.
What a save from Kevin Trapp, you have to say. Ryan Kent getting himself into the box, but just look at the run from Kemar Roofe. A natural centre forward, he knows how to run the channels, he knows the timing of it. And then the ball flashes back to Stephen Davis. It actually takes 2 deflections, that's what they're shouting for. It should have been a corner.
Kent again. Oh, what a moment it was for Ryan Kent to step up and be the hero.
Big guns. Been up to the box. Goldson, Lundstrom.
It was just a nice touch there. Fashion Sakala's just reached the dugout, and Leon Balogun and Diallo got out to see him, pat him in the back. They know how he's feeling. That's proper teammates.
Well, we have to say, a wonder save from Kevin Trapp. All his experience keeping his side in it. It's Arfield now. The volley repelled. Bassi out to Sands. Test out Lens. It will drop here for Tavernier. Davis, and Rangers will have a free kick on the edge of the area. Oh, this is big. 30 seconds to go.
Looks like Tavernier maybe the one.
It would actually be prime territory for Borna Barisic. I couldn't give you the numbers, but he certainly scored a few free kicks from this area of the pitch. But James Tavernier has also scored from here in the past. He's been the go-to man in the knockout stages, continually delivered with goals and assists and big performances. Is there one big moment? Is there a twist in this final with James Tavernier, with the phenomenal season he's had in European football?
And so often it's been from the spot that James Tavernier has made the difference. He can avoid penalties right now. All eyes on James Tavernier. Tavernier to curl one. Oh, it was a great effort, but not good enough to beat Kevin Trapp.
Yeah, not enough pace, Rory. He gets it up and over. He gets across. Covers that near post.
Actually, excellent position from Kevin Trapp. He doesn't overcover his side of the goal. He starts from the centre, meaning he can go both ways. But good free kick.
Time is up. It will be penalty kicks to decide the 2021-22 Europa League final. Joe Aribo and Rafael Borre, the two goal scorers in normal time. The extra 30 minutes couldn't separate these two, and for the second year in a row it will go to be decided by penalty kicks. The full-time score is 1-1. Penalties are next.
Thank you, Rory. What a chance late on for Rangers to win it, Ali. But what a save from Kevin Trapp.
It's a brilliant save from Trapp, I've got to say. Roof on as a centre forward, goes in behind, uses his pace, he's looking fresh, cuts the ball across. It's an unbelievable chance. I've got to say, Kent should score, but it's a great save. It is a great save. You can take nothing away from the goalkeeper, but you've got to be scoring that.
That was the game right there, Kenny.
It was right there. You know, you're not going to get a better chance. I mean, you've got to give him the credit in the 120th minute of the game to have the energy to make the 40-yard run to get on the end of it. And you know, the defender does enough as well, I think, just to put him off. But it's a wonderful save for the goalkeeper.
On the whole, Owen, Rangers dealt with extra time very well.
Yeah, they've been really good actually in the extra time as well. Credit Ryan Kent for actually getting in there, you know, getting on the end of it. I actually think he does almost everything right. Just, it's a fantastic save from Kevin Trapp. Moments are so marginal in these games.
I know we've all been thinking it for a while. We didn't really want to say it, did we? But Alan McGregor, in what might be his last game, Ali, could be the hero.
Oh, he could. Make no mistake about it. All I'm going to say is, and Kenny will back me up, he's one great goalkeeper at penalties. He really is. He's one of the best. Trapp's good as well, mind you, I have to inform you. Very good. But my money's on that man there.
Trapp has had a phenomenal season, but you said to me, I think, a couple of rounds ago, there is no one better in football at penalties than Alan McGregor.
You know, and it was right before the penalty against, was it Braga, when Katai stepped up to take it.
And Red Star.
And it was a Red Star game. It was a wonderful save, you know. He does his work, but a lot of it he does as well off instinct. On the run-up, he judges it. He's just, more often than not, he goes the right way. You know, and if he goes that way, he'll have a chance. You know, for me, he's one of the best I've seen at penalties. We used to take in him every day training. Every day training. Every day. We would take them, and you know, wonderful at penalties.
Just have to hold your nerve now. Keep your head. Pick your spot. Have conviction on.
Don't change your mind. Get up there, don't change your mind. Get up there with a clear plan on how you want to execute it. Be confident and hit the target.
It's something worth mentioning as well. The Rangers finished the stronger.
They did.
And I thought they played they were the better side in extra time. Obviously, as Owen was correctly saying, you could see the fatigue creep in both sets of players. However, Rangers were better in the extra time period.
How often have we said it, Kenny, of late? The resolve, the resilience that team has shown.
In the half, in this moment, it's one of them. You have a penalty shootout to go and lift the Europa League. Would we have taken it 4 or 5 months ago? I think absolutely we would have. Yes, we finished. We've had a wonderful chance to win it at the end of this game. But you've got one moment now. Like Oren says, it's really, really important that you keep a cool head. That if you can, pick your spot and go and execute it. Go and execute what's in your mind. They've practiced it, there's no doubt about it. So hold your nerve, pick your spot and do not change your mind.
The biggest of big opportunities now.
I'll tell you something else as well. It's worth winning the toss, because I'd like to see the penalties up this end into the Rangers fans. Clearly that would be the case. I think this is a big toss to win.
Okay, we'll find out in just a second which way they are shooting. Back over to Rory Hamilton.
The biggest of opportunities to maybe secure the biggest moment in Rangers' 150-year history. The two managers embrace. It has been some contest between two teams who have dug so deep. Oliver Glasner and Giovanni van Bronckhorst couldn't have asked any more from their players. They're certainly keeping the suspense of the big coin toss. Well, it's such a shame that one will have to lose, but this is what it comes down to.
So first, we will decide which goal. So
Imagine there will be a big cheer goes up, whichever end the referee points to.
It's that goal, okay? So it's that goal.
We will be at the Rangers' end of the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, and they are happy. Or are they? Is it going to be redone?
No, I think you may be asking who takes the first penalty.
Another big one to win. And it will be Rangers to take first. The skipper has the ball in his hands. When it comes down to historical penalty shootouts, Eintracht Frankfurt have never won one in a UEFA competition. They lost 2 years ago in the semi-final against Chelsea. For Rangers, I will say just one word: Fiorentina.
Yeah, with the captain first, Rory. James Tavernier.
Alan McGregor just getting everything set straight with the referee ahead of the first penalty kick, which his captain James Tavernier will come up to strike. The Europa League's top goal scorer. He's been lethal from the spot. Scored against Dortmund twice. Scored against Red Star. Scored against Braga. James Tavernier against Kevin Trapp. Tavernier, he was never going to miss. Lethal James Tavernier.
Yeah, straight down the middle. Gives him the eyes.
And just listen to the reception that is coming the way of Christopher Lenz. The Rangers support behind Alan McGregor's goal, doing everything that they can to put off the German. Lenz just waits for his own goalkeeper to clear the area behind the goal. Lenz eyes it up and nets past McGregor, who now as the crowd behind him silenced by the substitute.
Got to say, nerves of steel. He had a long wait. Kevin Trapp had to go to the other side of the goal. Puts it away with authority, with pace, with power.
Stephen Davis has seen it all before. 37 years. All those appearances for Rangers, for Northern Ireland. The man from Ballymena takes. Well, that is emphatic. What a strike from Stephen Davis, who has put so much into his entire Rangers career.
Oh, top drawer, absolute top drawer. Right into the roof of the net, Rory. Could have two keepers in there. I'm not saving that.
Aynan Rustic is next to face Alan McGregor, who is ushered back to his line by the referee, who is happy with the ball placement. It just increases the nerves of the Austrian midfielder. Rustic sends Alan McGregor the wrong way. He looked nervous, but it was a cool finish.
Got to say, the standard of the first 4 penalties, under the pressure, fatigue kicking in for some of the players. They've showed great composure. Goalkeepers haven't got anywhere near it. Phenomenal penalties so far.
Scott Arfield, who just signed a new 1-year extension this month. Arfield in front of the Rangers fans, strikes it hard, strikes it high, and the 100% success rate continues.
Yeah, Tap guesses the right way. Tower and the pace. No chance for that one.
Richie Kamada, Japanese international. Alan McGregor gives him the eyes. Kamada, that is a wonderful penalty. You don't take the margins that fine. It kisses it in off the post.
Well, yet again, the power generated, it only took a couple of steps. And you can just see the relief in every single player. And the ball hits the net, they think, I've done my bit.
Aaron Ramsey missed the Europa League final with Arsenal against Chelsea in 2019. The Welshman off the bench, he was brought to Rangers to produce big moments. Ramsey denied by Kevin Trapp. It's advantage Eintracht Frankfurt.
Yeah, trying to get down the middle, Rory. Trapp saves it with his legs.
And now Rangers look to rely on Alan McGregor to come up with something big. They need this. Filip Kostic against Alan McGregor. Kostic squeezes it in to the most narrow of gaps. McGregor went the right way, but he just couldn't quite stretch out the hand. Eintracht Frankfurt are almost there. Rangers need something big.
Yet again, the Frankfurt player right on point. McGregor gets a hand to it. Can't stop it going past. All the pressure moves. It shifts from Frankfurt right onto the shoulders of Kemar Roof.
Kemar Roof must score to keep this going. Trapp has saved one. Roof Step to the side. Kemar Roof in off the post and he keeps it going. Kevin Trapp thought it was the moment.
Yeah, off the post, Rory, pinpoint. Giving the goalkeeper no chance. Plenty of pace and power again.
After 120 minutes of pulsating action, energy-sapping action, it all comes down to one strike of the right boot of Rafael Borre. His equaliser got us to this stage. It's the Colombian against Alan McGregor. Rafael Borre wins the Europa League for Eintracht Frankfurt. In the baking heat of Seville, one man keeps his cool. The Eagles are soaring in Seville tonight. And it's Rafael Borre who delivers glory to lift this cup for the second time. Germany has another European crown. Eintracht Frankfurt, Europa League winners. And the scenes and celebrations at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan will overflow into the streets of Seville for some time to come. La Bestia Blanca, the white beasts, the matadors of Seville. It's glorious celebration for Eintracht Frankfurt.